Hello, friends. Welcome to Trending. Today's Thursday, December 7th, about 9:30 as we're recording. Good morning, Joe.
How's it going?
Doing good. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Thursdays are kind of an interesting day around the office, right?
Yeah.
I feel like you get a lot done in one day. And so we're here for it.
Yeah.
Including trending.
Including Trending.
Yes.
Which, by the way, today's December 7th. We've got, I think, three more, this one and two more trendings.
That's right.
We're wrapping up the year here with just a couple more episodes. Do you want to give a rundown of what our plan is?
Yeah, we kind of have like a standard schedule, right? So we tend to talk about our favorite things from the year.
Yep.
Which is always a hit, I think.
Yeah.
Or people just laugh at us for liking such interesting things, right?
Yes, right.
And then we always have like a Nostradamus, like
Yes.
bold predictions for the upcoming year. And we reflect on our last predictions where we usually go 0 for 5.
Yep.
And then we typically have Santa. But, I actually gave Santa a call. And,
Okay.
The funny thing was, like, when I called him,
Yeah.
he was listening to that new Jimmy Fallon and Megan Trainor song, and he had turn it down so he could talk to me on the phone.
Nice.
So, but he seemed to be in a festive mood.
Okay.
But he said he's pretty busy this year, and so he's going to pause on meeting with us this year because he's got other. He says we're important, like we have value, but like there are other things out there. So
Yes.
I kind of went away thinking he really had a bigger, better deal than us,
Probably so.
and that's okay.
Maybe Fallon called, and he's, got to
Yeah.
hop on Jimmy Fallon this year.
So we won't have our Santa episode. I know that some of the kids out there like it. So next year, perhaps we'll get him back.
Or we can replay one of the previous ones if you want to.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of replays that go on this time of year on
Best
TV.
of.
Yes. All right. Sounds good.
Okay, well today, so I guess today's kind of the last kind of normal episode of the year, and it feels like we can't really go this whole year without having an episode about a very notable person in the world,
That's right.
our friend Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
News broke yesterday, I think, that she was named Time Person of the Year, which I think no one was surprised by.
No one.
Maybe all of us saw that coming.
Maybe people start recognizing her.
yeah, right. She finally got that big break she's been waiting for.
Something I am interested about this Time Person of the Year, because I think there's 3 different covers of her, like 3 different pictures for the cover. Mm-hmm. And so even though they kind of unveil this all at once, they present it like it's, it's time to do this thing. Like they've obviously been planning on it.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I mean, do they do that like to keep it secret? Do they have like 3 or 4 people and there's like a buzz around the office? I wonder who it's going to be so nothing leaks out. Or anyways, so like it's like spontaneous and prepped at the same time.
Yes.
All right.
I heard the finalists were Barbie,
Okay.
the Hollywood Writers,
Yeah.
and Swift. So they announced, I think, the top 3, and then they announced that she was the winner, which, again, no one was surprised.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So a couple of things to talk about with Taylor Swift.
Okay.
So first thing, obviously, I can't remember anyone who has had as big of a year as she has had this year.
I know.
Between the Eras tour, which has sold, like, it's shattered every record ever.
Yes.
She had the film that also came out related to that.
Right.
She's with Travis Kelce. She's everywhere.
Budding romance.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so she's literally everywhere.
It's like a Yahtzee year, man.
Yes.
All 6s.
And she's bringing in a lot of money.
Yes.
She's also shattering all kinds of records with that.
Right.
And I can't really remember anyone who has had that much success. And honestly, like some people don't like everything she does, obviously.
Right.
But she hasn't really had a huge scandal.
Right.
And she is pretty open. I mean, she's not open, but it's come out about her that she's pretty generous. She gives a lot of money away to various charities and stuff. Yeah. Again, we don't want to over glorify her. We're not trying to put anybody on a pedestal, but it does seem like she's kind of got a template for dealing with a lot of success.
Yeah.
I know your daughter went to the Eras tour.
Yes.
Swift mania has hit your household.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think Avery, if there's any way by the time she gets to college and like post-college, to get a PhD in Taylor Swift, I think she'll be for it, man.
Yeah.
Like, so whatever university out there, if you would like a skilly from the Midwest, a neat gal, start to create that opportunity for the PhD of Taylor Swift. Avery's already on her way, man. Like, she can rattle off everything.
Yeah.
About it all.
I think I don't know if it's Harvard or one of the Ivy League schools has a class on Taylor Swift. One class on Taylor Swift. So I don't know. Maybe we're on the way to her doctorate. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. We got to get her into Harvard now.
Yeah, I guess so. So one thing I did want to kind of mention one thing too. I actually don't know where Taylor Swift is in faith. I don't know if she claims a faith. I really don't know.
Right.
She's not very outspoken. Whatever she believes.
Right.
And earlier, I think we mentioned her or someone else, and someone commented something about like, oh, I don't really understand why so many young Christians are flocking to someone like her. So I think some people, if your faith is really important to you, some people might struggle with someone being a diehard Swiftie, knowing that she at least isn't outspoken about her faith. There's people out there where that might be troubling to them.
Sure.
And I guess since that's come up before, I just thought we should mention.
That's right.
Not everything we talk about, not everyone that we talk about is outspokenly Christian.
Right.
Part of our goal here is to take what's happening in the world and what can we learn from it from a faith perspective.
Yeah.
Where can we pull biblical principles out of things that aren't necessarily biblical, right? That's kind of our goal, is how can we take what's in culture and weave in our biblical, what can we learn from the Bible based on that?
Yeah.
So with that out of the way.
Yes.
One of the quotes from the Time article I thought was interesting.
Okay.
So let me just toss this at you.
Sure.
So in the Time article, she said, I'm very careful to be grateful every second that I get to be doing this at this level because I've had it taken away from me before. There's one thing I've learned. My response to anything that happens, good or bad, is to keep making things, keep making art.
Okay.
And again, I think that's a pretty healthy perspective to have.
Yes.
Going through highs and lows of life that we all experience,
right.
Knowing that it can be taken at any moment, living with gratitude.
Yes.
What kind of stands out to you as you've heard that?
I think she highlights an important principle that all wisdom traditions, including Judaism, Old Testament, Christianity, New Testament, would highlight, which is we tend to know things in contrast, right? This is something that Pastor Brent says all the time too.
Yeah.
You know your good days because you have bad days, seasoned in there. You know plenty because you also have lack at some points in your life. Like you can't. So really, generosity is quite relative to knowing stinginess, or having plenty is relative to like not having enough. And so when she says, like, I respond to all of this fame, all of this fortune that's come to me because I've seen it taken away.
Yeah.
She didn't have to have this perspective. She could have an entitlement. She could actually say, no, it was taken from me. I'm due this.
Yeah.
So all you haters out there from that era of my life, like here, take a look at this or whatever. Like she could like almost be retributive, but instead she has more gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Maybe because she knows that this season can be replaced by a season not like this. Now, that's relative too. Her generous and prosperous seasons I'm not going to have anything close to it, right? You're not going to have anything close to it. None of our trending audience probably will. I mean, she's like kind of a top tier of all that. But I still think that we can embrace her posture here. And so I just simply think that we could follow her lead here, because I've surely met Christians in my life, and you've in yours, and maybe we've even lived into this. Yeah. When we come out of a hard season of suffering, or where we've been denied, or where we've been mistreated, like we can get into the revenge, retributive thing. Now we might do it in a polite way, through a polite lens, but we can still have this like bitterness. And I think that's why the scripture says like to try to root out that root of bitterness, because it defiles so much. It's like that's the root of something, but it's all these different applications. And so yes, we're saved by grace, and yes, we know the forgiveness from our God, and we could have a proclivity in a season of plenty to then turn around and take it out on other people, or to like boast about it and take a victory lap, and that almost like undermines all of it, right? To call oneself humble is to like undercut our hard-fought humility that we're trying to live, right? And so I think this is a neat perspective by her. She's she could have go one or two directions, and she decided to say almost like, I'm working hard for this. Like I've prepared for this. At the same time, I didn't expect this much. And because of that, I'm just deeply grateful. It's hard to maybe find a character in the Bible that rivals a Swift, right? As someone who is just glamorously, laden with blessing. But you do see people, I think, in the pages of Scripture, sometimes some unsung heroes that they just have a different way of life for what they've been given. So one that comes to my mind is Barnabas from the book of Acts. And we have to kind of keep in mind what's going on in the book of Acts. The book of Acts is trying to articulate a couple things at the same time. Not only is it trying to cameo Peter and Paul, the main characters of the early church, but it's also trying to answer the question, now that Christianity is turning into a global movement and not just a area of Palestine movement. Like, how do we make all this fit?
Yeah.
To the first century Jew, they said the temple was a place where God and humanity met. So one of the things that Acts is trying to do is trying to say, no, like now Jesus is the place where God and humanity meet. And then it's trying to answer, like, what does it mean for all the promises of Israel to be fulfilled? And you hear this in the first conversation that Jesus has with his disciples. This is his last conversation with them directly in Acts 1. They're saying, hey, when are you going to restore the fortunes to Israel? Like, when are you going to take care of all of our needs?
Yeah.
He's like, nah, like, you got it wrong. Like, like those dates and times not up to you. You're actually going to be witnesses to the ends of the earth. And so actually what this is going to be is a global movement where Israel's not the beneficiary of blessing, but you're going to be like the conduit of blessing to the rest of the nations.
Yeah. Okay.
And something interesting happens along the development of that plot.
Okay.
Nearly every outsider Jew that we meet is hostile, is vindictive, and is angered towards the people of God.
Yeah.
So when there's one not like that, we take note.
Yep.
And so early in the story, we got this guy named Joseph, but he gets renamed Barnabas, which is the son of encouragement. And what's Joseph do? There's a little the biography thing about him that we kind of miss. He's a Levite, okay? And so what does it mean to be a Levite? You don't have any land, but what's the first thing he does? He actually sells land to like pay the bills of struggling Christians in the early church. So it's like he's like repenting and coming back to the roots of his true calling as a Levite Jew, which is to say, no, I want to embody the fullness of God's promise to us as a covenant people, and then I want to continue to bless people. We see him again whenever Saul is trying to become part of the church. Remember, Saul's been breathing out murderous threats. He's like the Karen of all Karens, in the early church, right? In the like most ghastly way possible. And when everyone, like when Saul, after his Damascus experience with Jesus, he's trying to participate in the life of the church. Of course, everybody's scared to death of him, right? But as everyone's like backing away, Barnabas like actually approaches Saul and he like includes him, almost say like, I kind of know what it's like to be left out. And I don't want this guy to be left out. So I want to like bring him into the life of the church. And so when it actually comes to the time to do this first like missionary journey of actually beginning to plant churches along the Mediterranean, the Aegean, who does God pick? He picks Saul of Tarsus and he picks Barnabas to be these first two heralds of this good news to foreign lands. So the plan was to take it to the ends of the earth. Who's the best candidate? Is the person who lives with deep gratitude and generosity. And that person is Barnabas. And it's kind of striking because at first, in that first missionary journey, Barnabas is mentioned first, Saul is second. But midstream, now Saul is mentioned first, and it's Barnabas. And some biblical scholars say it's because Saul begins to take captain's chair, and Barnabas is willing to just give it up. So that Saul can begin to embrace his full calling as an apostle to the Gentiles. And so you got this interesting picture when all other Jews are looking at what's in it for me. Every time we turn the page, Barnabas is like, no, like how can I include somebody else? I know grace. How can I extend grace? And I just think that that's a beautiful picture that we see, kind of encoded in a narrative theology of the book of Acts. But it is something that we kind of see in a hint. And, a celebrity like Taylor Swift, who's like, I can absorb all of this. But bit by bit, story after story, she's just kind of giving it away. Because she knows this is going to run out at some point.
Right.
And so I think I want to look back and not have any regrets. How do I have no regrets? I need to share this with other people the best I can. And just keep on making stuff, because that's what makes me feel the best, is the stuff that I get to create, not just the limelight that I get to absorb along the way.
That's good. I've never thought of the Barnabas comparison, but that's great. I know I listened to, I think it was on a podcast that was talking about kind of her rise, and one of her first songs, a lyric that really stuck with people was that I'm not going to get it perfect here, but something about like, she's a cheerleader and I'm on the bleachers.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And like, so her career kind of started with this kind of an outsider feeling. She's not the all-American, at least she felt like she wasn't like the all-American cheerleader princess girl. She kind of felt like an outsider. Nothing's completely swished, and she is the icon. But I think she still has a little bit of that outsider approach to some of her songwriting and stuff, and that's maybe what resonates with people. And it sounds like that's what kind of Barnabas started out with. And I'm going to switch gears here just a little bit. But another thing I've noticed with just a couple interviews and articles I've read, she seems to also be really pretty good at just living in the moment. I think she knows this is probably the biggest year of her life. Like, I can't imagine her topping this.
Right.
I think, and she seems to have an awareness of this might be the best it gets, and I'm going to soak up every minute of it. And just from the Instagram stuff and the Time articles and things like that, it could be a facade. Who knows how she's really feeling? Right. But I admire that too, because even in our lives, in a normal person world, I think we get the highs and the lows. It's hard for us to have that kind of long view perspective, right? Of living in the moment, soaking up the good, living through the bad. I think there's something that we can learn about that too. Is when you are in kind of an up season, enjoy it because you know it's not going to last. And if you're in a valley, know that it's not going to last. And I think, again, from the outside, I think she's modeled that pretty well. So
yeah, and I think that this is a season where we can slow down enough to relish moments.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, holidays are hectic. Like we got this event and this party to go to and all these things. But there are some downtimes. Like we get more time off usually, and there's always this like kind of reruns on TV or whatever, and you get these like kind of these full afternoons where you can probably nap or you're just hanging out with your family, and like I think that we could just challenge each other to slow down and say, okay, we're all here, like, and my kid's another year older and they got different interests than they did last year, and I haven't asked them lately what they're reading and the book that they're enjoying right now, or what do they want to learn in the new year, and so like to kind of plumb our relationships a little bit and to allow those slow moments to be rich moments, and not add more stuff so that we just make it through the end of the year, but to really slow down and say, no, I'm gonna embrace it as much as I can. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess congratulations to Taylor Swift. I know you're watching, Taylor. Thank you for your faithful support of Trending.
If you
tell Travis we say hello.
Yeah, if the Kelseys would just mention it on their podcast, give us a little bump in rating,
a little Kelsey bump, that'd be nice.
Have you seen this meme on the internet? So there are 3 Philadelphia Eagles: Kelsey, Hurts, Swift.
Yes, I have seen that.
And like when they line up in a certain formation with DeAndre Swift in the backfield, it's like the NFL has revealed the plot.
Right.
But you can read it both ways. Is it Kelsey that's going to hurt Swift, or is it going to be Swift that hurts Kelsey? Or maybe nothing. Maybe,
I don't know.
Maybe she's going to say, Travis, you belong with me.
Hey, there you go. That's the Bleacher song. Way to go. Nicely done. Nicely done. All right, any closing thoughts?
No, we just continue to shoulder on in the Christmas season here at Ridgepoint. Hey, the kiddos are singing at 9:30 this week, which is always a fantastic time.
Yes.
When they all get up there and they're nervous, and there's always like the type A kid who wants to do it right.
Yes.
Like this is their first moment of performance.
Yes.
And then you got the rascals who are up there just like picking their nose and waving at their parents and stuff. Yes. I'm here for it, man.
That'd be great.
That's one of the funnest moments.
The contrast of those 2 different kinds of kids is always great. So, big offering. You can still have a couple more days to give to the big offering.
Yes.
It's kind of cool. We had the Giving Tree. Giving Tree's gone. Every star was taken, which is, I love it. That's incredible.
Yeah,
so there's still lots of great things happening around here. Christmas Eve coming up. So check out our website if you want to learn more, or join us on Sunday.
Amen.
Okay, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend. We'll hope to see you on Sunday.
Yep. See you next time.